All right, Eskhaton and their latest EP, Horracle, is what they've. So the last record from the band they described as psychotic death metal. That wasn't enough. I mean, now this one is cyclonic death metal, and I really like. I think this is probably the better descriptor for what they do. Well, most people call it bestial death metal, or an extreme form of very. I wouldn't say blackened death metal, but war metal is another way of putting it. Though their themes are not exactly there in that respect. Uh, so this latest EP is, I don't know, is it pure chaos and unending torment? Is it just pure death metal? Yeah, all of their stuff is though. I think this is, if I'm talking about a bestial death metal or war metal release, it's because it has good guitar riffs. And these are especially buried under the cyclonic force of it all, granted. But there are riffs there, and it's a cool band. Um, so I really enjoy Blasphemophagor and Death Era Titan Blood, so that's an important note here. I also am a fan of Chrysian, and I think that applies to some of the drumming on this record. And those were all points that are just like, yeah, well, I'm not talking about Archgoat or Bathory this time, so that's a good sign that it's not just another like bestial death metal record. So I, I'll admit that most of this record is spectacle. It is sort of I don't want to say fun, but it's a brutal act. It's a mean death metal release, and that's pretty important when you're playing this style. That it's not all a fucking joke, because I'm not going to buy a joke. Well, most of the time. Uh, So it's a pretty substantial EP. That's part of the recommendation. I think this is a really good introduction to the band's sound. It's not so demanding, but it's also just about album length. And I think Omega Lithios will sort of their 2019 full length will give you a good sense of what they had sort of built up over the course of a few records and really the crux of their style. And then this just exaggerates it and goes a little bit more wild with it and just makes more of a show of it on a sort of slightly more technical level, but mostly just kick, kind of kicking your ass the whole time. Uh, so I thought it was an especially fine record from this not always especially fine subgenre, but that's up to you and your taste. So, if that's your thing, definitely check it out. But I thought it was pretty good. I had a good time listening to it. So there you go.